Egyptian President Fattah al-Sisi and Sheikh Mohammed support Trump's peace proposal amidst Gaza crisis. Egypt's military production minister meets Armenian ambassador to boost manufacturing ties. Egypt aims to boost the iron and steel sector with advanced technology and localization. President Fattah al-Sisi and United Arab Emirates President Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan have welcomed US President Donald Trump's proposed initiative to halt the war in Gaza during a meeting in Cairo. According to the Egyptian presidency, the two leaders held extended talks at the Ittihadiyya Palace discussing regional developments and among them the situation in Gaza. Both leaders expressed support for Trump's ceasefire proposal, calling it a step towards lasting peace in the region. The visit also highlighted deepening bilateral ties, with al-Sisi praising growing United Arab Emirates investments in Egypt. Sheikh Mohammed commended Egypt's improving business climate and reaffirmed the strong economic cooperation between both countries. The Egyptian Red Crescent has dispatched its 44th humanitarian aid convoy to Gaza as part of its ongoing relief efforts for residents of the besieged enclave. Since the launch of the Zaid al-Izza campaign on July 27, the organization has delivered hundreds of thousands of tons of humanitarian assistance to Gaza. With the help of more than 35,000 volunteers, the Red Crescent has managed to supply over 500,000 tons of aid to address the growing needs of civilians affected by the ongoing conflict. Egypt's Minister of State of Military Production, Engineer Mohammed Saleh ad-Din Mustafa, has met with Armenian Ambassador Armen Sargsyan in the new administrative capital to discuss strengthening military and civilian manufacturing ties. The minister highlighted Egypt's advanced production capabilities and invited Armenian companies to join the EDEX 2025 in Cairo. Both sides emphasized deepening cooperation through technical exchanges and strategic partnerships. The ambassador praised Egypt's industrial progress and commitment to modern technologies. Egyptian Defense Minister General Abdelmajid Saqr has met Somalia Defense Minister Ahmed Muallim Fi'i in Cairo to discuss enhancing military cooperation and promoting continental security. The talks focused on expanding joint efforts to bolster peace and stability in Africa. General Saqr reaffirmed Egypt's commitment to deepening defense ties with Somalia, while Minister Fi'i praised Egypt's regional role and alignment of bilateral views on key issues. The meeting was attended by Egypt's Chief of Staff Lieutenant Ahmed Khalifa and other senior military officials. Washington, D.C. U.S. President Donald Trump meets with Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu at the White House, of course in Washington, as I mentioned at the beginning of this news information.
Mr. Prime Minister, have you agreed to the deal?
Egypt and the United Arab Emirates have agreed to strengthen cooperation in civil aviation, focusing on AI integration, air safety, and sustainability. During talks at the ICAO General Assembly in Montreal, Egypt's Civil Aviation Minister Sameh Al-Hifni and United Arab Emirates Abdullah bin Touq Al-Mari discussed expanding partnerships, cutting emissions, and upgrading navigation systems. Al-Hifni praised bilateral ties as a model of Arab cooperation, while AI Mari stressed the sector's role in economic growth and the need for modern regulations and tech-driven development. High-level talks in Cairo have reinforced Egypt's commitment to becoming a strategic trade and transit hub connecting Europe, the GCC, and Africa through the global TRI system. Egypt's Deputy Minister and Minister of Transport and Trade and Industry, Kamel Al-Wazir, and IRU Secretary General discussed final steps for TIR implementation. The system, which streamlines cross-border land transport, is seen as central to Egypt's vision to link ro-ro maritime routes with Italy and Turkey to inland markets across the Gulf and Africa. The system is expected to cut transit times, reduce trade costs, and boost supply chain resilience. During his visit to Doha for the Global Mental Health Summit, Egypt Health Minister Dr. Khaled Abdullah toured Qatar's Sports Medicine Hospital and the Stimulation Center. The visit aimed to enhance cooperation in sports medicine and virtual medical training. Plans include setting up a similar facility in Egypt and launching the country's first virtual hospital, aligning with Egypt's healthcare modernization goals. Egypt is implementing a 10-year strategy to develop its iron and steel industry. Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli has announced the plan, prepared by a specialized committee, aims to position Egypt as a regional hub by adopting advanced technologies, improving production efficiency, and enhancing product quality for global competitiveness. Deputy Prime Minister Kamel Al-Wazir emphasized the importance of localizing related industries, noting that iron and steel outputs are vital inputs for several other sectors. Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli has reaffirmed Egypt's commitment to developing its state-owned textile industry through public-private partnerships following President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi's directives. The plan focuses on modernizing factories, improving governance, and maximizing returns on state investments. Public Business Sector Minister Mohammed Shimi said the first phase of upgrades is complete, with major increases in production already seen. He highlighted ongoing talks with investors from Korea, China, and Turkey to expand operations, utilize ideal assets, and boost exports. Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli has convened a wide-range meeting with heads of Egypt's new cities and Housing Minister Sharif al-Shirbini to push for higher standards in cleanliness, maintenance, and urban presentation. Madbouli directed city leaders to increase field inspections, ensure contracts with maintenance firms are followed, and boost partnership with real East developers. He warned that any city head not meeting targets may be replaced. Minister al-Shirbini emphasized that active presence on the ground by city leaders is key to driving performance and success across all departments. Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli chaired the Supreme Hajj Committee meeting to ensure seamless coordination among authorities for the upcoming 2026 Hajj season. His committee reviewed regulations, safety measures and preparations to provide the best services for pilgrims during the rituals. Attendees included ministers from industry and transport, tourism, social solidarity and religious endowments. Madbouli emphasized close coordination with Saudi Arabia to guarantee pilgrims' safety and smooth rituals. The meeting also covered medical procedures and health screenings for pilgrims, with electronic health data systems in place to enhance medical services. Egypt Air confirmed full readiness to transport all Egyptian pilgrims for the season. Egypt's Ministry of Industry has unveiled 28 strategic investment opportunities to boost local manufacturing, reduce imports, and position the country as a regional industrial hub. Backed by Deputy Prime Minister Kamel El-Wazir, the plan targets sectors including solar and wind energy, electric vehicles, water treatment, pharmaceuticals, green hydrogen, food processing and textiles. The ministry said that the industries are selected based on raw material availability, energy resources, labor costs, and market demand. The initiative aligns with Egypt's goals for digital transformation, green growth and industrial self-reliance, aiming to attract both local and foreign investors while creating jobs and increasing exports. Egypt's first high-speed electric train line spanning 660 kilometers from Ain al-Sukhna to Marsa Matruh is now 67% finished. Plans for the second and third lines are progressing, with the second line set to run 1,100 kilometers from Giza to Abu Simbel, and the third line covering 175 kilometers from Qna to Safaga and Hurghada. These lines aim to link agriculture zones, tourist areas, new cities and export ports, supporting the development corridor planned by scientist Farouk El-Bez. In addition, the East Nile monorail, 56.5 kilometers, is near completion, connecting Cairo Stadium to the new administrative capital, with all 40 trains delivered. The West Nile monorail, 43.8 kilometers, will link October City to Mohandesin, integrated with the metro and rail networks to serve expanding urban areas. The European Bank for Reconstruction and Development has raised Egypt's economic growth forecast for 2025 to 4.8%, up from 4.0% in its May outlook, citing stronger than expected growth in manufacturing, trade and transport sectors. Growth for the fiscal year ending June 2025 is now projected at 4.5%, with 4.4% expected for 2025-2026. The EBRD joins Deutsche Bank in its optimism, both forecasting 4.8%, while the IMF and Fitch Solutions project 4.1% and 4.7% respectively. Egypt's 2024 growth was also reserved upward to 3.1%, and inflation has dropped sharply to 12% in August, its lowest since March 2022. Meanwhile, remittance soared 82.7%, and foreign investment and domestic debt markets rebounded. However, the EBRD warned that high debt servicing costs expected to consume 65% of government revenues, and a slow pace of structural reforms could weigh on long-term growth. That's the end of our news bulletin for this hour. Here's a quick recap of today's news. President Fattah al-Sisi Mohammed support Trump's peace process amidst Gaza crisis. Egypt's military production minister meets Armenian ambassador to boost manufacturing ties. Egypt aims to boost iron and steel sector with advanced technology and localization. That brings us all to the end of this. That's all for now. Remember to stay updated by following Qnews for the latest developments.